Well, I love a good IPA. And I'm glad to say I brew a lot of great IPAs. This one though, this is not one of them. This one started off really good. After packaging though, took a turn for the worse. So the whole point of my video today is to talk about what happened and how we can fix it. So that instead of having this, I wind up with a really nice beer like this. It's a common problem. I have it now and then. I took up my game a notch and I fixed it. So let's go on inside and we'll talk about it. Here we go. So let's talk about how this flaw expressed itself, the likely cause, and then the correction. And I'll give you a little spoiler alert here. It's all stuff you probably already know, but it should serve as a good reminder on best practices. So again, this only happens in my IPAs. And the effect is quickly after packaging, it develops this kind of sweet flavor, almost like a caramel type of flavor. Not necessarily diacetyl, but kind of down that path. And I'll say this, it doesn't matter if the IPA is a Columbus Centennial Cascade type of beer, or if it's a Simcoe Amarillo Mosaic. They always start tasting exactly like each other, the same way every time. My wife and I, we call it the funk. And so it's readily identifiable. The aroma follows the taste to a T. It's uncanny. And so I started looking into what could be going on here. And what it came down to, and this might be surprising, is oxidation. And why I say it might be surprising is that normally people think when the beer gets oxidized, they think of wet cardboard, paper, things like that. But in your IPAs, it definitely develops this sweet type of flavor. Very unappealing, by the way. And I'd say in the matter of just a few weeks, all your wonderful hop flavors and aromas, all that, they're just gone. It's covered up by this other attribute. And so what I'm going to do in this video is show some of my practices that I really paid attention to this last go around to make this beer here, which by the way is just wonderful. It has been wonderful in the keg now for almost 6 weeks. And normally this flaw, this characteristic that I'm trying to avoid, it starts showing itself as soon as 2 weeks, maybe 3. And so anyway, you'll see that I take great attention in purging my keg and exactly what I do. I also have some still shots of the transfer mechanism and other little things that I'll talk about in the video. And I think the point is this, that we all know these are things that we should be doing. We all can have the potential to be a little bit lazy, cut a corner, think it's good enough. It's those times when things aren't good enough and problems emerge. So watch the video. I hope you learned something from it. I'd be very interested if anyone else has had this effect in their own IPAs. Please comment on that. I've done some work on some of the bulletin boards and what have you, and sure enough, other folks have commented on this exact same type of phenomena and the frustration in trying to figure out what it is. So here we go. Let's watch the video. Again, thanks for watching as always. Hope you get something out of it. I know I did. I'm making better beer and paying more attention to it. That's nice. Here we go. So let's get ready to purge this keg. So we really want to make sure that we get all the oxygen out. This what I've got here is the keg full to the rim with Star San. I got to tell you, when I have problems, I think I get a little lazy. I think I don't mix a full batch of Star San. I think I've got the keg full enough, but lo and behold, the net result is I got beer that becomes oxidized. So step one, make sure that your keg is completely full. Let's put the lid on here. just like normal, I attach the CO2 to the end. I have that other side just to the out, as if you're actually serving beer. And as the pressure builds up, we'll start to see the flow. So I'm going to go ahead and let it do this. I let it completely purge the keg, and then I'll take the output off. Little pressure build up in the keg, then put it aside and have it ready for use. That's all there is to it. The next thing I'll point out is the actual transfer hose from the fermenter over to the keg. You can see here on the tri-clamp output of the fermenter, I have a flare fitting on the output there that I could actually connect a regular beer line to. This ensures that I won't get any air trapped within that line during the transfer. Also, just for interest's sake, you can see how full the keg is at this point in time by the condensation on the side of it. But what I like to do to make sure I get the right amount of beer into my keg is I'll go ahead and I'll put the keg on a scale and actually measure the beer as it's being transferred. And this is nice to see because you can also see what the flow rate is. Here I got a snapshot of a 40-pound of beer in that keg, so I know it's a full 5 gallons. And I like to do that because I like to make sure the keg's as full as possible, squeezing out any airspace that's still in there. Just for reference sake, you can see here again, due to the condensation and the fact that I weighed the beer out, what a full keg looks like with 5 gallons of beer in it. Well, I think that'll do it for this video. I'll go ahead and wrap it up here, edit it, upload it. I hope you got something out of it. I'm sure a lot of folks are going to say, I never had that problem. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. All I know is this, is that a lot of YouTubes, you'll see people do a brew day and they put the beer in the fermenter and they're saying, wow, it went great, smells good. Or they do a taste test, the day after they bottle it up and they're like, oh, this is great. This one though, I'm showing what happens over time. Package your beer, let it sit a while, and maybe it starts to do some things you don't want it to. So again, I guess I'd say just follow those really basic steps to the T. Make sure you don't cut a corner. Purge that keg. Make sure the transfer line has no air in it whatsoever. And of course the simple things like purge the head space of your keg once the transfer is done. Also, anymore, I like to fill those kegs up as full as possible, hence leaving less room for that oxygen to reside to contaminate your beer later. A lot of fun doing this. Again, please feel free to comment. I get so much out of the comments and questions that come up, and that way I think we can all learn. So until the next one, cheers, enjoy the summer, and we'll catch you later.